Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead is originally a play and then was converted into a movie that follows two background characters from Shakespeare's Hamlet. In this play, you see a lot of the background or, off stage, not really necessarily important moments from the perspective of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern that you miss in Hamlet. So you see a lot of like these central themes that are developed in Hamlet also apply to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and the entire play is the story of Hamlet just told from their perspective. So instead of seeing the big ending scene from Hamlet's perspective, you're seeing them from Rosencrantz and Guildenstern's perspective. And they really don't have any control in what's going on. So they are left in the dark about the central points of the theme of Hamlet. So the storyline about his background and what's happening with his family, and they are missing bullet points. So they don't have a clear picture of what's going on. And I think that is Stoppard's way of analyzing and critiquing the role of free will in society, and specifically in Hamlet, and applying that to greater pictures in life. And I think that from that, they both handled that information differently. Rosencrantz is pretty chill. He says that he is accepted, even if it's subconsciously, he's accepted that there's really nothing they can do. And he even goes as far as to say, like, relax, like, just let it play out, enjoy what happens to us. While Guildenstern actually is kind of the opposite. He is not comfortable just being an observing in an observing role. He wants to have some control over what happens, and have the opportunity to react in a certain way and not change the fate. When in reality, that's not the situation. There's such insignificant roles in the play that that's just not in the cards for them. And then when you consider like the play to movie aspect of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, it is important to think about the fact that the play itself is very long, and so when you're converting these things to plays or into movies, as like a lot of text to movie situations go, you have to cut out a lot of stuff, and so a lot of the centralized themes aren't as developed in the movie because they don't have the opportunity to take those iconic lines from the play and fully hash them out, or even include the entire line. And so that can change the context of some of the scenes, and then also, like I said, keep those themes not as developed as they had been and could have been in the play. And additionally, when you read a play, you have your own certain perspective and connotation with those lines, whereas those connotations are already present and established in the movie. The way that characters say things, etc., are all already established. So there's not a lot of reader's interpretation to things in the movie, or at least as much as there is in the play. I think overall the movie is really great, but you do run into a problem of, if you don't have context, not only of Hamlet, but also the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead play itself. It's definitely more difficult to understand. So without that background information, not only about Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, but also about Hamlet, his situation with his family and the entire country, and the fighting and the tension that's there, you kind of will also be left out of the loop, kind of how Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are actually in the play. You're kind of left out, left in the darkness. It's harder to understand the humor and the sarcasm almost, and then being like these two very insignificant characters, and then having an entire movie and play written about them. So with that, I think that the movie is really great, and I would definitely recommend it for somebody who's looking for a witty, intentional, smart, intentionally intellectual, I guess is the right word, movie, or maybe even somebody who's like really invested in Shakespeare and Hamlet. I think that it would be really like a good fun watch, if you're interested in like really paying attention to the movie. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's all I have.